Good day, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 103rd Simpsons podcast.
All we need is an awesome theme song. Whatever plays next on the jukebox. Deal.
Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough.
Next song.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. It's the Simpsons podcast that discusses The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond. Well, why 11 and beyond, you ask? Well, we feel that The Simpsons have been discussed a lot in podcast format from seasons 1 through 10, and we feel that the later seasons never get the treatment that the golden age of The Simpsons do. So we're here to find if there's any gems out there that can rival those golden age episodes of The Simpsons. I am half an annoyed grunt boy, Craig, and with me on this journey is...
your other half annoyed grunt boy, Steve.
Steve, what do you got for me this week?
The other day, a gentleman came into my store and he asked for a job application, and my manager was nice enough to have one at the ready. Now, this guy did not quite seem to be, how do I put this, all there, but my boss is a very open and welcoming person, and so they wanted to give this person a chance. As they were filling out their job application, they kept on pulling their mask down, and so Laura and I just been like, hey, could you keep your mask up? And he said it is up when it clearly wasn't, and then he began scratching his face. At this time, he started to look a little sketchy and just kind of going a little crazy. He was kind of like looking around, and it just seemed clear that he wasn't all there mentally. And so my boss said, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. You should leave. That's when things got weird, because then he started getting in the face of my boss, and he lifted up his shirt to show what would normally be a gun, but instead of a gun, there was a ballpoint pen sticking out of his pants. And he also, weirdly, I don't know the answer for this, but he had like plastic wrap wrapped around his waist, like almost like he was wearing underpants made of saran wrap. And then so he got in my boss's face, and my boss is like, yeah, man, you need to leave. It's like he started to say, or what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then he's like, nothing. You just need to not be here. This isn't working out. And so like I kind of like saw the situation and was like, hey, man, you got to go. And then he got up in my face, and he started like, he literally spat in my face. So if I have COVID now, that's why. But he kept on like pushing me and like as though he was going to attack me. And I'm a very mild-mannered person, but there's a side of me that I call Angry Steve that I don't like to see, because I kind of go blind with anger, and then my voice just kind of takes over. And so I started yelling, you need to get the fuck out of here, man. And I yelled really loud, so much so that the person in the back of the store could hear me. And then he started like attacking my boss, like he was going to kick him. And I was like, dude, this guy would have been your boss and you're attacking him? What are you doing? And so before I know it, there's like 6 people around us who are all there to support us. Some of them are employees, some of them are customers, and they're just like, dude, you need to leave. And he's like, I'm not going to leave. It's my right. I'm like, you don't have any rights here anymore. We don't want you in here. You need to go. And like he like lifted up his shirt, the sleeve of his shirt, to show that he had cut himself. And he's like, I'm straight edge, which is not a thing that straight edge people do. They usually just don't drink and put marks on their hands to show that they don't drink. They usually don't cut themselves. But we got him out the door, and he kept on like pushing himself against the glass, and it was just a really weird experience. One of my employees grabbed a potted plant to use as a weapon, which never came to fruition. And then another employee called the cops, and the cops put him on hold, so he had to hang up. And then the cops called him back, and when they were asking about him, they're like, so tell me, was this suspect black or white? And, you know, obviously you need a profile of the person so you know what you're looking for.
Right.
But there are better ways to ask that question. Like, what did they look like?
Right.
First of all, there are other races other than black and white.
Not according to the Portland police.
This is true. But also just the fact that he's like, is he black or not? Like, so the person laughed and everything was fine. I like, my blood pressure went through the roof. The rest of the night I just wanted to yell and hit somebody, but I didn't. I just made some drinks and poured some beer and had a good time. But man.
Everyone wants to know, did you get the job?
Oh yeah, he's going to be starting tomorrow.
He's your new manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard Donald Trump said about him is he wishes him well.
Yeah.
I don't know what that person was thinking, obviously off their meds.
Yeah, it's just hard because, you know, I work in an area downtown where, you know, we have a lot of rich people, and my like poor punk rock mentality is like, oh, the rich people are bad. And then, you know, we have cops, and then, you know, right now cops aren't so great. So you want to cheer for somebody, and this person isn't great. So I don't know. It's just weird. But anyway.
Like you said, he was like pulling up his shirt, and like it was like, is he pulling the Tracy Jordan move of, you know, 30
A little bit, yeah. He did have some very big Tracy Jordan vibes.
All right, Steve, let's just get on with this week's episode. How about that?
Alrighty, Craig. Today we're talking about Don't Fear the Roofer. It originally aired on May 1st, 2005, or 2005, as some people say. Craig, what was the number one movie in the box office?
Well, I like to say 2005 as the year.
That's smooth. I like that.
Yeah. Our number one movie was the Douglas Adams adaptation of his famous tome. That would be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, starring Zoe Deschanel and
Martin.
Martin.
Yeah, I wanted to say Martin Short, and that's wrong.
He would have been pretty good. I know they did the 80s BBC, which I've never seen that miniseries version, but as from what I know, it's far superior to the box office film.
Yeah.
But Alan Rickman was the little robot, wasn't he?
Yeah, and honestly, I saw that movie twice in the theater, and he stole the show, the little depressed robot.
I wouldn't mind going back and watching that again.
I enjoyed it. Most Def was really good in it.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, maybe I'm going to have to go back and watch that again.
All right.
It's easier than reading the book.
For sure, reading is dumb.
I mean, it's not like that book is world renowned for being
one of the funniest books I've written.
Considered one of the classics.
Yeah.
For me, that's the Bible.
What's your favorite verse?
When he's like, "Mom, spaghetti," and then keeps going on and on and on. That's a pretty good verse.
That is a pretty good verse, yeah.
Well, speaking of singing, Steve, what was our number one song for that week?
That's a great segue, Craig. The number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 was Candy Shop by 50 Cent featuring Olivia.
Now, from time to time, Steve, we like to play the Kids Bop version of the songs, but there certainly would not be a Kids Bop version of Candy Shop by 50 Cent, would there?
I don't think there would be, because it's a pretty filthy song.
You'd be wrong.
I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you get the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the spot. Whoa.
I'll take you to the candy shop. For one taste of what I've got, I'll have you spending all you got. Keep going till you hit the spot. Whoa.
You can have it your way.
So this is legit real, and we usually don't play the full song or the full version of the song. So just look up a Candy Shop Kids Bop version, and you could listen to the whole version. We just put in some of the more problematic things. And so this is real, and it was recorded by the Kids Bop people, but it was pulled from the album shortly before the track list was released, as a test group expressed a dismay at the fact that the song was on there at all, and felt that even the Kids Bop version sounded extremely inappropriate, which it does. He's like, I'll let you lick the lollipop. And it's like the kids singing. Of course,
yeah, I mean, I would argue that the Kids Bop version is far more disturbing than the 50 Cent version.
It's, I mean, the 50 Cent version, fine. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the Kids Bopped it, which is even gross, I just say Kids Bopped. All right, well, I know this isn't a Kids Bop podcast. All right, so this week we're talking about Don't Fear the Roofer. It's Homer meets a new friend, Ray the Roofer, played by the one and only Ray Romano, which, he's going to be on this podcast later, but gets confined to a mental institution when his friends and family think he just made up Ray. All right, Steve, let's go take a break and watch this episode, come back and discuss.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be right back.
Dripping wet with sweat, man, it's on and popping. Got my A-game campaign, bottle after bottle, it's on, and we gon' sip to every bubble and the soda's gone. I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you get the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the spot. Whoa.
I'll take you to the candy shop.
And we're back. Today we're talking about Don't Fear the Roofer, the 16th episode of the 16th season. It originally aired on May 1st, 2005. It's, we'll call it episode 351 in the show's run. Nerd code is GABF10. It was written by Kevin Curran, directed by Mark Kirkland, and your showrunner is Al Jean.
So this is our, we'll call it our back-to-back Kevin Curran episode. Last week we reviewed the Road to Dough-ware, which he wrote that. And hey, if you don't know Kevin Curran, listen to last week's episode. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
That's fine. We have a lot of trivia to talk about.
Yeah, he, of course, writer on The Simpsons and, what was it?
Married with Children?
Married with Children, and he's dead.
Okay.
We like Kevin.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Kevin, we miss you. Yeah. So it's Don't Fear the Roofer. And, of course, that's the spoof on that rock and roll hit by the band Blue Oyster Cult, which is Don't Fear the Reapers.
I need more cowbell.
Yeah. You thought I was going to put that clip in there, but I'm not going to. It's like one of those like when they show SNL, like the best of SNL, like that always comes up. I'm like, seen it. I don't need to watch it again.
Yeah,
Overplayed.
my hot take is it's not that funny.
No, it really isn't.
Like the first time was fine, but it's just Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell and hitting a cowbell.
Yep.
And exploiting Christopher Walken for being a weirdo.
You mean the murderer Christopher Walken, the man that killed Natalie Wood?
Exactly.
Allegedly.
No,
it's kind of like one of those Hollywood, like, I'm not saying myths, but he was on the boat and when she drowned. We don't know if he pushed her or was part of a conspiracy, but they were all coked up anyways.
Yeah, but you have to assume that he has some information because he was there on a boat.
Yeah, much like Andy Samberg.
Oh, did Andy Samberg kill somebody?
Just Justin Timberlake's dick.
It's in a box. So this is the 350th episode to air, which on the title screen it shows, it says 350th episode, man, but it's actually the 351st to air because the Heartbroken Kid was meant to be 350, but they switched, making future drama. Oh man, this is confusing. I just tried to read it and I was like, basically they had like a religious themed episode and then Pope John Paul II died.
Spoiler.
And so they changed the order and they showed basically 2 episodes on this night, the Heartbroken Kid and this one being first. So yeah, there it is.
What? Sorry, I fell asleep.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, well, let's just do one more little nod here because Ray Romano is the guest star of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it aired before his TV show Everybody Loves Raymond had its series finale. And then Ray mentions during a confusing argument and at the end of the episode. So there you go.
Nice.
Right on the heels of the final episode of Everyone Loves Raymond. Steve, were you a Raymondite? Is that what they call him?
I wasn't. I still have it, but at the time I had this like really like snarky anger towards CBS and their programming because I felt like it wasn't cool.
Right. And is it ever?
Yeah, I mean, like, this was, like, prime time for Chuck Lorre, The Big Bang Theory premiered, and 2.5 Men, and all these shows, and I would watch King of Queens, because I liked Patton Oswalt. Yeah, Kevin Smith. Kevin James. He was Hitch.
Hitch was Will Smith. No.
But he was in it.
Right. I'll admit that I watched, like, the first, 2 or 3 seasons of Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stopped after that. I never watched 2.5 Men, and I've never watched Everyone Loves Raymond. I have nothing against Ray Romano. I think he's kind of funny, so.
Yeah, I think that he's probably funnier than the sitcom was.
But it was so popular, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to have to do a Stephen Craig Love Ray Men podcast?
Maybe. I mean, it did have, like, Andy Kindler and other people. And
Well, it had Young Frankenstein.
Exactly. There we go.
And Brad Garrett.
I do enjoy Brad Garrett.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're sorry we're not up to date of our Everyone Loves Raymond. Let's talk about what we do know. The Simpsons, Steve. What was our couch gag?
Well, the Simpsons family on the sofa, but as a jigsaw puzzle with a few pieces missing. Mysterious hands puts in the pieces, at first placing Maggie and Homer's head on the wrong respective bodies. They correct their mistake and give a hearty woohoo.
I don't know who did the woohoo, but it was kind of like half-assed, but in a good way.
It was.
It was like woohoo.
It sounds like somebody in an office completing their spreadsheet or whatever, and just like, I'm done with this project. Woohoo!
Or it was like, the sound engineer or the director. It was who was the director? Mark Kirkland was like, we should have put a woohoo in there. It was probably like Mark Kirkland's voice. Well, so the episode proper will begin. So it's rainy day there in Springfield. There's thunder and lightning. And we go to Moe's where the gruff bartender, he's placing some steins in the spots where the water is leaking on the roof. And he drags a passed out Barney and places his a gape mouth underneath one of the offending leaks.
That's right. And as is often the case, News Team 6 has more information. Let's cut to Kent Brockman.
Kent Brockman here with Stormwatch 6. Professor Frink, what's the scientific explanation for this unusually severe thunderstorm?
Well, Kent, we are exploring 2 theories at this point. A, either we have a supercell of high-pressure fronts, or B, God is bowling with the balls and the pins and the rental shoes and the very bad cheese pizza that comes in squares.
Krusty, what's your lighthearted take on our recent bad weather?
Sorry, Kent. I sold all my bad weather jokes to Jay Moore. But I can make funny sounds in your microphone.
Fine. There you have it.
I like Professor Frink, the old, it's God bowling. When you were a kid, like, why is thunder? Oh, it's God bowling.
Yeah.
And then you're like, why is it rain? That's God's tears because you were touching yourself, little Stevie. And then you're like, Mom, why is white snow coming down? Oh, God's jizzing all over you, little Stevie. That's what your mom would say, right?
That's right. I always assume that when it's snowing, I did something really good.
Ooh, I turned God on.
I'm a good little boy. I'm going to make a come man.
Guys, we haven't really started this episode, and we're already off to our dirty, dirty words.
That's right, but enough of Kent Brockman. This isn't the Kent Brockman show after all. It's The Simpsons. So we go to 742 Evergreen Terrace, and the rain continues, and a leak in the bedroom causes water to collapse as Marge's trademark beehive, waking her up. She wakes Homer up to have him fix the leak, and she has just a solution: Hot Wheels.
It's good to know that Homer, the Simpsons family, are Hot Wheels people and not Matchbox people.
Yeah, Matchbox have plastic bodies, so they go faster, but they're not as creative and durable as Hot Wheels. So I go for Hot Wheels myself.
Steve, I think it actually is the other way around. Hot Wheels have the plastic body, but the metal undercarriage, and then...
Oh, you might be right.
I should know because I have, right behind me is a wall of Hot Wheels.
I just remember I had both as a child, and I like them both, but I know that Hot Wheels were more creative, and they had more accessories.
Yeah, Matchbox, like, the cars actually look like real cars, whereas Hot Wheels have like TV, movie cars.
Yeah.
And they also have like really weird ones. Like,
I just remember the weird, like, random branding for them. Like, it's a Star Wars, it's a TIE fighter, but it's actually a Jeep.
I remember one birthday, you gave me like these weird Hot Wheel cars that were like the Yoda mobile. It had like a car, but it had like Yoda's ears.
Right.
And like a Chewbacca van. It was just like a brown van with like a sash.
Yeah. The Han Solo, which is just like a AMC Pacer.
Yeah, like it looked like he was wearing a vest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. The local Kroger's, aka the Fred Meyers that I shop at, they literally have like 3 end caps of just Hot Wheels, and then like 5 full bins of just Hot Wheels. Like I swear, the entire Hot Wheels population is located directly in my Fred Meyer.
Wow,
it's insane. But you'll see like weird Hot Wheels. Like trying to think of like one time I saw like Snoop. Well, it was kind of cool. It was Snoopy's doghouse as a car, but it wasn't the Red Baron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, but so anyways, enough about Hot Wheels. We'll just continue with that because Homer is using the toy track cars from the Hot Wheels to flow the water through it, and it does a couple wicked S turns and goes around the loop of death and out the mail slot where it's the yards problem. Steve, does the water, is that how gravity works with the water?
Probably not, but it is a cartoon, so maybe.
Wait, what?
Huh? Oh, sorry, it's a live action show. I didn't mean to confuse you.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Suddenly, we hear Lisa shout, "My hamster!" and see the furry rodent water sliding down the tracks with Lisa chasing close behind. The hamster goes through the mail slot, and Lisa hastily opens the door, causing Homer's ingenious track to fall apart.
Hey, I got a little blunder here, Steve.
Uh-oh.
So Marge wakes up by the leak, and it's nighttime, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Homer fixes the leak with the Hot Wheels track, and it's daytime.
Whoa.
What kind of fuckery is that, Steve?
Oh, man.
We always have to play this.
Yeah.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
My only possible defense, and it might be wrong, is that Homer spent several hours constructing that Hot Wheels track. So by that time had passed. But I could be wrong.
All right. No, I think you're right, actually. It
Like,
takes
I
a
just
while.
imagine.
Yeah, it takes a while because, he's got all those like parts, like the loops and like the turns and stuff like that. It takes a while to kind of put that together. Steve, I know this not from like Hot Wheel track experience, but a few years ago, I wanted a train around the Christmas tree. It took me forever just trying to figure out which track pieces to use to make a damn circle. So, and I was probably the daylight when I was trying to figure this out. By the time I was done, it was nighttime. So we'll go with your solution. That's probably right. That, you know what? No one got fired for that blunder, Steve. I'm going to take that back.
We can't all be Reverend Lovejoy in his basement.
Mm-mm.
But Marge is less than happy with her husband's handiwork.
You know, Homer, I let a lot of things slide. But when you can't keep a roof over your family's head, you're just not much of a father.
I was gonna have my classmates over for a homework party, but now my refreshments are ruined. Goodbye, college.
He was supposed to be in a show and tell this week. That's not gonna happen.
That teddy bear survived 3 safety recalls, but it couldn't survive you.
Oh, that's it. I'm going to mow. Oh, it's raining outside.
It's raining inside.
I love Bart with There Goes College. Goodbye, college. Just because he couldn't give his ritzies to his friends.
I also love the visual of Maggie wringing out her teddy bear angrily. And also Snowball 2 drowning in the litter box.
Yeah. So, the Homer 2 at the end with, it's raining outside. But this is kind of the beginning of, we've talked about it a lot on the podcast of Jerkass Homer. Now it's Jerkass Simpsons family, except Homer.
You know, you're right. I don't mean to, but Marge is especially unpleasant in this episode. She just seems very critical of Homer. And I know that she has years of disappointment behind him, but it just seems like she's like not in a good place this whole episode.
Well, and I think you brought it up. He spent all of his time putting that Hot Wheel track together when he could just, try to figure out the problem and find a better solution. So
yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I can side on Marge with this. Kind of a dick.
Yeah. So Homer, upset at his stupid Homer-hating family, goes to the one place where he's always been welcome, Moe's. Homer enters the bar to see a chorus of barflies singing "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow."
Oh, so that's probably for Homer, right?
I would assume.
This ain't for you, Sweatstain. It's a surprise party for Lenny, thrown by his closest friends.
So what's Stephen Hawking doing here?
I live here now. You're looking at the new owner of the Little Caesars down the street. Pizza, 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 pizza. Sorry, that button sticks.
So why didn't you invite me?
We couldn't tell you ahead of time because you'd spill the beads.
I wouldn't ruin a surprise for Lenny.
Surprise? What surprise?
Oh, way to go, Homer!
It's 6 years planning, down the drain.
I'm sorry. I'll just sit over here until you stop being mad at me.
Oh, great, Homer. I bake a cake shaped like Lenny's favorite bar stool, and you wreck it.
All right, I'm bringing it up first. Simpsons did it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the past couple weeks, the internet has been making jokes because there's been like this video going around of, oh, look at this hamburger, and they cut it. Nope, it's a cake. Oh, look at these ball bearings. Nope, they're cake. Oh, look at this severed baby's head. Nope, it's a oh, that's baby's head. And everyone's like, oh, it's really cake. So here it is. They make a stool, but really it's a cake.
That's right, Craig. I regret to inform you.
What?
I, myself?
No.
It's true. I'm cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, can I eat you? But
I mean, if you want to, I mean.
But I was going to say, most cake is made with like sugar and flour, but you're just probably full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah, I'm not a good cake.
You're more like a urinal cake.
Exactly. At first it was just vinegar, but here we are.
But also as an adult, less sweet. I like more savory, and vinegar, it's a good flavor.
It's true.
Salty and Steve, I don't want to eat your vinegar cake.
Well, all right. Well, we'll just continue then, and I'll be eating another day.
Hey, but do you really think that Homer there, he didn't really spill the beans about Lenny's surprise? He didn't say it loud.
No, and also, what kind of surprise birthday party takes 6 years? Like,
yeah, I was thinking that too.
Like, they got him a cake, and that's it. And that took 6 years. I mean, he has a birthday every year.
I was gonna say, if they said they took me 4 years, then we could have argued that he's a leap year baby. But here we are.
Yeah.
So Moe's patrons stare down Homer, and they realize, he's not, or he realizes he's not wanted. So he gets up and leaves. Just before he leaves, Moe stops him, and he pleads to Homer not to go. And you're thinking, oh, okay, cool. But really, he just scrapes the frosting off of Homer's ass and then kicks him out.
Gotta love that ass frosting. But we learned that Stephen Hawking can't have any because he's on the Atkins diet. And then we got to Homer in his car, stewing that his family and his friends have all turned their back on him. They'll all be sorry, though, when he invents the world's best tasting cola and doesn't share it with anyone. Homer then laughs and pulls out the recipe for Homer Cola, which consists of...
We have sugar,
water,
bubbles,
and...
the Riddler?
I don't know.
So here on the podcast, every time like a food thing or they eat something comes up, Steve and I have decided to try that. So I've made this recipe here with the sugar, water, and bubbles. Here you go. You can try it. And
it is wet like water.
Right.
It's effervescent like bubbles.
Okay.
And there's clearly sugar in it. So I'm going to say it's a home run because, mission accomplished.
Okay. When it said bubbles, I wasn't sure. So I just used the popular bathtub Mr. Bubbles. So that's what you're tasting. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Tastes bubblegummy, right?
Feeling a little nauseated. It did taste a little bit like bubblegum, and and a lot like soap, and I am hiccuping bubbles like the donkey in Pinocchio when they go to the fuckboy island.
Now known as the Epstein's private island.
Exactly, yeah. It's weird that the Pinocchio predicted Epstein's island 60 years ago.
I'm going back to Stephen Hawking real quick. So he's on Atkins, and that's also known as a low-carb diet. But he owns the Little Caesars now. Like, that's all carbs. It's pizza, so he can't eat his own product.
That's true. I mean, crazy bread, can't have it.
But maybe that's a good thing, because if he wasn't on the Atkins diet, then he'd just eat up his entire stock.
Yeah, I mean, he is a genius after all.
So he's, what he's like? He's like Sam Malone, who owns a bar. Sam Malone is an alcoholic, and owning the bar prevents him from, continue drinking. So Stephen Hawking buys a Little Caesars to prevent him from eating carbs.
That makes sense.
And now look at him.
Well, don't look at him now. He's dead.
All right. Well, so back with the Simpsons here. Homer's laugh is turning maniacal, and his recipe slips out of his hand and out of the car window, and he whimpers and sees a sign and appears to say, "Welcome, Homer." Oh, okay. So with angels flapping its wings upon further inspection, it's actually "Welcome home, rowdy drinkers." A large-breasted neon woman slinging some steins of beer.
Fun. Homer pulls into the restaurant/bar called Knockers, which is obviously a spoof of Hooters, using the same font and color. Finally, a bar for men who like to drink and look at sexy women.
So as our hero settles in, a server approaches and asks him if he sees anything he likes. His curiosity looks at the waitress's ample bosom, Steve. That results into a slap and being called a prevert. There's clearly a sign that says, "No looking at our waitress's enormous breasts."
It reminds me of when I was a teenager, and this is embarrassing. My
went
mom
to Denny's and
yeah, no, my mom asked if I was looking at Prono.
Prono.
Yeah, because she thought it was porno.
So she called it Prono.
Yeah.
Well, were you looking at Prono?
Of course.
Or Pro Yes?
Pro Yes. I'm pro-choice. I don't know what that has to do with my pornographic choices. It's my body, my choice. It's fine.
Well, continue on with your mom Prono story. Or was there a story?
Not really. It's just she said Prono instead of porno. That's it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
so we're at Hooters, Steve. Homer wants a beer and a sympathetic ear. Hey, that rhymes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Homer's bad luck continues as the bartender is dealing with his own issues. Namely the fact that he lost his eye the previous evening. So Homer's bummed out, and perhaps some things will change.
How did it ever come to this? I'm the first man ever to feel depressed in a bar. I don't have a friend in the world.
Look at the size of that nacho plate. I haven't seen this much melted cheese since I left my Billy Joel albums out in the sun.
The sun.
Hey, you want to split this?
Wow, it's been so long since I've been with someone who doesn't know what a selfish pig I am.
Mine. Oh, move your head.
I get this.
Hey, my name's Ray Magini.
Ray, you know me better than anyone. How can I get my wife to love me again?
Beats me. I'm no marriage counselor. Just a licensed and bonded roofer.
Sound like he said Marge counselor, not marriage counselor. Let's go back and replay that clip.
I'm no marriage counselor.
Did you hear that?
It does, yeah, you're right.
I heard Marge
counselor.
Yeah, marriage counselor. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Don't let those gates
started.
out. Yeah, I mean, once we start with the Ray impressions, they're not going to stop. Hey! I'm Ray Magini. I'm a roofer.
Oh, I love Homer's laughs at his dad jokes.
Yeah.
his laugh.
And then he doesn't even get the punchline right. It's like, the sun.
That's classic Homer.
Yeah. We then come to Homer thinking up the math equation, house with hole in roof plus Ray equals happy Marge. He asks Ray for help with his roof. Ray agrees, provided that Homer help him with drinking of beer.
So once again, we get Homer's brain where he adds himself plus beer, and initially comes up the sum of smashing his car into a tree, which, he did the math right, but he had to redo his work, and he re-adds that it's Homer plus beer equals to him being the president, complete with a top hat and sash.
So imaginary Homer completes his first act as Commander-Chief, which is slam dunking a hoop and breaking the glass backboard. But what we really need is a president who breaks the glass ceiling. Am I right, ladies?
Not a political podcast.
No. Yeah.
I don't remember this, but I remember that president thing. Like maybe it's just like a meme thing that I've seen on the internet, but so it comes from this episode. I remember that from people posting pictures.
Interesting.
Do you remember that?
I kind of do, yeah.
But they've done a couple like him thinking he's president.
Yeah, I just think of the one where I think he's thinking about robbing the Quickie Mart.
Okay, that's the only one I'm thinking of them too. Yeah.
Where he's spinning the gun in his hand and Marge is like go dancing in a bikini.
Yeah, let's get that tattooed.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Everyone has that tattooed. Not everyone.
Yeah.
I've seen that one. Anyways, okay.
So the two new buds share an awkward moment while trying to find the perfect theme song, and that's the end of the first act.
So did you know that Dan Castellaneta, who does the voice of Homer Simpson, also worked with Ray Romano in 2 episodes of Everyone Loves Raymond?
Interesting. So our next act begins with Homer sleeping on the couch. Marge confronts him because she was awoken by an owl eating a mouse next to her bed, which, as we all know, means 6 more weeks of autumn. Also, Homer lets his wife know that he's got it taken care of.
Don't worry, honey. I found us a roofer last night, and you'll never guess where.
Knockers on Route 98.
How did you know?
I'm psychic. Look, I don't know if I want a roofer who hangs out in bars.
Oh, you're right, Marge. I guess I should look for roofers at poetry slams and yoga retreats. High five!
Nah, I got standards. I don't hand out high fives like chiclets.
Ray would high five me.
Well, he better high five our roof.
Yay, Mom!
Zing!
Oh!
Her joke didn't make sense.
No, but I like the kids encouraging Marge.
Yeah. So Homer's outside with his toolbox, and Marge is grabbing her kids, and they're going out for the day.
Come on, kids, we're going to visit Grandpa. Then we're going to take the dog to the VET. Then take Bart to get CIRCUMCISED.
Huh?
I'll tell you what it means when it's over.
All right, where do we begin?
I like the dog's confused.
No. We gotta talk about Bart's dick.
Alrighty.
Do we have a Bart's dick jingle, Steve?
I feel like we ought to, but...
So, why is a 10-year-old boy getting circumcised? Like, why now? Adult circumcision is a thing. For a child, it's probably medical reasons. For an adult, it's either medical reasons or for vanity reasons.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume it's obviously for medical reasons.
I mean, it could be for vanity. I mean, maybe like Milhouse Son is like, dude.
Well, no, Bart doesn't know.
That's true. Maybe Marge saw Milhouse see Bart's penis, and she felt bad for her little son.
So, okay, let me ask this then. So Homer's circumcised, do you think?
Probably.
Why is Bart getting a circumcision? After I watched this, I knew it was like, I feel like Steve and I are going to be talking about this for about 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's a question of, in the movie, we see Bart's penis, and it does not appear to be circumcised.
You're right. It doesn't look circumcised. Yeah.
So does that mean that the movie takes place before this episode?
Well, the movie would come out just about a year after this, right?
Right.
Year or 2, yeah.
Or did his foreskin grow back?
Maybe it does, and yeah.
Maybe that's the thing that he has to go through every few months.
Okay, so the Simpsons live in some weird universe where they age slowly, but maybe they also regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe...
Which would explain why Homer can get injured so often.
Right.
Springfield's a town full of Wolverines.
For Deadpools.
Right, exactly.
All right, well, tell us what you think about Bart's dick at the president at thewhitehouse.gov.
Yes, just tweet at us at the White House.
All right, well, so the kids and Marge drive off, and Ray appears right after they leave, and at the agreed upon time, and that impresses Homer, which is a word he'll definitely look up. Impressed.
Yep, the roofer asks about previous conditions of the roof, but Homer admits that he mainly purchased the house because of the view of the Krusty Flakes billboard. Someday that bowl will overflow, and baby, he'll be there.
And meanwhile, Marge and the kids pull up to the Springfield Retirement Castle, where they plan on making Grandpa feel some love. That doesn't sound right, but then getting the heck out of there. So Santa's E. Halper excitedly jumps out of the car and into the old folks' home, and you must smell some leftovers.
Please, we call them senior citizens.
So the elderly residents love the pooch, and they want to keep him, but not for too long, just until they die. And so the dog there, he tugs on Jasper's beard and steals the wig off a bald lady, and even pulls out the man's IV and laps up the medical fluids that are oozing onto the floor. And Lisa tries to explain by the benefits of pets among older folks in a very brainy way, but the retirees don't want to hear it, and they just want to love doggy style.
That's right. So back at the roof of 742 Evergreen Terrace, Homer and Ray are hard at work repairing the hole. Homer yawns and inadvertently shoots Ray in the head with a nail gun. Ray shudders and then says it's no problem before shooting Homer in the head 4 times with his own nail gun.
Wait, what did Ray say?
Hey, no problem. I'm gonna shoot you in the head with a nail gun.
Steve doesn't want me to egg him on to do Ray Romano impersonations, but it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen. My brother's tall.
Hey, I'm Brad Garrett. Is that?
Yeah.
Pretty much like this. Yeah, okay. I'm this big and I got a really small penis. That's my comedy act. Have you ever seen some of his acting? That's his material.
I did not know that, but I think I love it.
I think he just might have said that like on Howard Stern interview or a Nerdist or whatever, Mark Maron.
Yeah. Well, Craig, did you know that Homer was previously attacked in a nail gun in Bye Bye Nerdy?
Yeah, I fucking knew that. Why would you bring that up, you piece of shit?
I don't know. I just wanted to offer some trivia.
Well, fuck you and your trivia.
Fine.
Did you know that Homer pulls out the projectiles? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, he declares a nail war. And so Steve, we besides eating things, we also like to imitate Homer. So Steve, if you look to your left, I got you a nail gun.
Oh, fun.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Pew, pew, pew.
Ow!
Pew, pew.
Ow!
Laura's going to hear you like, what the fuck is going on in there?
Ow!
Oh, hey. Okay, anyways. So they're shooting at each other in an attempt to avoid getting hit. Then just then we hear a good old Ned cry out. It seems that all the nails have hit the lawnmower he's on, and he complains that he can't get any lower when Homer shoots out the Lasco tire.
The new friends share a laugh about nearly impaling the neighbor when Ray gets a page. He has to go because as a kid attempted something. It's awful the way those beavers cut off.
That sounds some bleak going there, Steve.
Simpsons did it. The episode foreshadows another one of those Simpsons predicting things. In this case, the tragic suicide of Sawyer Sweeten, who was an actor on Everybody Loves Raymond. He killed himself with a gun. And so, yeah, that's it.
Did he play Ray's son?
Yeah, he played one of the 2 twins.
Oh, geez, he killed himself with a nail gun?
I think it was a gun, but...
Oh, I wasn't making a joke. I thought oh, okay, so it happened April 23rd, 2015. I thought, like, this happened, but...
Jeez. No, basically, it's just, like, Ray saying, I gotta go. My son did something.
I thought you were implying this trivia fact that the kid killed himself while the show was currently on the air and they were making a joke about it.
Oh, God, no. Just the fact that Ray said, my son attempted something.
Yeah, and wow.
It was suicide. Ugh.
If you guys have suicidal thoughts out there,
seek help. There's a lot of good resources out there. There's always an option. There's options.
So Ray jumps off the roof and drives away, and Homer waves goodbye. And as the roofer returns the corner, Homer runs across his roof to get one last glimpse of his new buddy. But he falls through the hole and lands on a pile of clothing to be donated and falls asleep immediately, with Marge coming home to find her husband passed out.
Homer!
That's good.
You're drooling on my Goodwill pile. And why is the hole in the roof even bigger?
Don't worry, Ray'll be back any minute.
It's after 6. He's not coming back. He's a lousy roofer and a flake.
Hey, watch what you say about him. I think Ray could be the one.
The one what?
My new best friend. We think alike, we act alike, we finish each other's sandwiches.
I don't want to hear any more about Ray. Tomorrow morning you buy some shingles and fix that roof yourself.
Ray's not gonna like that.
You're not married to Ray.
Well, if I was, we'd have taller kids.
So they did the sandwich joke again.
Yeah, and they were the first to do it, right?
No, I looked this up, and it's still Arrested Development.
Okay.
I want to go back to because he falls through the hole, and it's the bigger hole.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of one of the most annoying things from the movie Christmas Vacation. I don't know if I brought this up on this podcast before, but remember when, like, Clark's in the attic, and he's looking at the home movies, and then he crashes through Rusty's bedroom, and there's a hole?
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Okay, so it happens... Before that, he creates a hole in the ceiling from the attic to Rusty's bedroom. He couldn't crawl under that hole, but still he's waits in the attic and watches home movies. Like he couldn't crawl into that hole.
Yeah.
And then also he's watching home movies on the ladder because when the ladder opens up in the attic, he falls through. I know this isn't the Christmas Vacation podcast, but that's what bothered me. Hate that scene.
I sure hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
John Hughes got fired all the way to the depths of hell.
Jesus.
There's your day off. There's your Breakfast Club and your...
Also, John Hughes, FYI, there are black people in Chicago. So Marge and Lisa return to the retirement castle to check in on Sentosi Helper. They assume that the elderly will be invigorated by the canine, acting like young people, just like in that cell phone ad that everyone hates. But when they get to the communal room, the Simpsons ladies are surprised to find that the opposite has happened.
And that family dog over there has become liver-spotted, bespeckled, and old. He can't even get bothered to catch a passing cockroach. So Marge, she tries to offer him a treat, but their dog refuses with a satisfying meh. And Marge puts the dog on a leash to get him out of there, but she then finds that Lisa has turned old too, at least in spirit, and wants to stay until after her crush Pat Sajak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to assume she has a crush on Pat Sajak.
Yeah.
But in reality, she wouldn't because he's crazy conservative. Anyway, so Marge drags both her and the pet and daughter away, and the old Jewish man laments that they have had a dog for as long as they can remember.
What dog?
Who the hell are you?
I wish I knew. And that's our B-plot.
Yay! So that's fun. We cut to Homer and Bart, who have arrived at the Home Depot spoof builder's barn, and Homer describes going to the hardware store as a kid.
You know, son, my dad used to take me down to Johnson's Hardware. Old man Johnson knew everything about fixing stuff. When they built this place, he hung himself.
That's fun.
So a couple suicide jokes in this episode.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, suicide's not funny. I mean, we know it's painless, thanks to MASH.
That's right. Exactly.
But seek help if you're feeling these feelings, especially these days.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, I mean, we're all feeling not great. And I know it might be lonesome, but, know that there are resources and just find comfort in things that make you happy. Take a nap, listen to a podcast, watch a cartoon. No, just make things worse.
Yeah, we're good at that.
At least we're good at something. Anyway, inside, Homer's sorting through tiles, and Bart comes by with a stack of tiles on his own. The stack is large, and it's obstructing Bart's field of vision. Homer explains that he wants tiles from the top shelf. When he sees Ray is also at the hardware store. We then get such a good joke.
Hey, Homer! Look, I just came down with a case of shingles.
What's in the box?
Hey, I'm real sorry I never made it back yesterday. I hope we're still friends.
Of course we are. If you want to be.
Oh, I want to be if you want to be. I'll tell you what, let me get a few more supplies, and I'll come right over and I'll finish your roof.
Hey, Dad, remember when you said if I used a chainsaw unsupervised, I'd hurt myself? Well, you were wrong. I hurt someone else.
Oh, I have 45 minutes to get ready for the prom.
Bart and hurting someone else. That was great, but that's not the highlight joke, Steve.
When I found out last week that we were reviewing this episode, that was the joke that I was waiting for.
The Bart joke?
Not the Bart joke.
Oh, well, you described the joke that you liked.
Just Ray saying, "I'm coming down with a case of shingles." And Homer laughs, and he's like, "What's in the box?" It's just so funny and dumb and stupid and good.
And it's that repeat of the previous joke, too, when Homer's like, the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is definitely the superior joke.
Yeah, I'm just going to show my cards right now. I don't care. I love the Mr. Johnson killing himself because the builder's barn was constructed. That's like my number 2. But the shingles joke, hands down, my favorite joke. I think about it often. Also, I have a very big fear about getting shingles.
Yeah,
it sounds really painful, and I am prone to get it because I had chickenpox once. And so are you, person listening, because you probably had chickenpox too.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, how are the listeners speaking to me?
I don't know who that was. Actually, I never had chickenpox, so there you go.
Oh, really? Okay. I just remember I got them on Valentine's Day, and I was like, oh, they're like little hearts. That's cute. And it was itchy, and that was it. But now I live in fear because any day now I could wake up to like blinding pain and red spots on my back.
Well, most likely it's going to be COVID because of, no one knows about what happened.
That's true.
Maybe next week? We'll find out.
Stay tuned, listener.
Okay. Who was that?
Stop talking. I also love the animation of Homer and Ray kicking their feet and like avoiding contact. Like, I don't know, if you want to be my friend.
Yeah, I love that. It was great. So back at home, we get Homer. He's on the roof. He's waiting for Ray, but Marge questions her husband as she's sick of hearing about that stupid, unreliable Ray, who, of course, she's never met, Steve.
That's right. And Homer, anticipating Marge's concern, shows her the portrait of Ray that she painted on the side of the house. When Marge asks Homer how he thought she'd react to the painting, Homer shows her a second portrait he did, this time of Marge snarling with anger.
As the sun sets on the day, Homer is still atop of his house, hoping that each passing vehicle contains his new acquaintance. Marge's anger has turned into a sad pity as she tries to get her husband off the roof. He won't come down for dinner, and as dusk turns to night, Marge's concern grows.
Homer, I know where Ray is.
Oh, thank God. Where is he? Tell me.
Sweetheart, your friend Ray is in your head.
Ray wouldn't fit in my head. He's a human man.
You have to understand, Ray doesn't exist.
Yes, he does. He's on his way. And when he gets here, we'll have ever so much fun. You'll see. We'll laugh.
Homer!
When they say like the ever so.
I know.
They do that a couple times in The Simpsons. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, is that the listener?
Yeah.
How's it going, listener?
Just let you know, Greg doesn't exist either.
Oh.
You're just talking to yourself.
Oh, boy. So I'm a dead clone, and I'm talking to somebody who doesn't exist. Oh, my God. What does anything mean? I'm so lost.
What does matter? No matter.
What is time? Doesn't matter.
Well, Steve, that was a fun clip. So the final act, we'll call the third act, Steve, begins at the Colmwood Mental Hospital, which we previously saw in Hurricane Eddie. And the psych ward is now treating some March madness.
Ooh, this is also the second time that we know of that Homer's been admitted to a mental hospital. His first time being in the now lost episode, Stark Raving Dad.
Well, lost to Disney Plus people, but us DVDers, we got it still.
Is this true?
Or just go on YouTube, it's still there.
Yeah. So Homer wakes up to find that he is bound to the hospital bed, shoeless, because, you can hang yourself with the...
Right.
Why am I giving tips on how to commit suicide on this episode about suicide? Ah, fuck. Okay. He spits in the face of Dr. Hibbert, and the good doctor, not the one on ABC, pulls the curtain and smacks Homer across the head with a mallet.
I wonder what it's like being spit in the face, Steve.
I know. It's awful.
So now sedated and passive. Homer wants to know why he's there and when he can go. He can go once he admits that Ray Magini doesn't exist. And he says, fine, he doesn't exist, and calls Ray to appear and strike down on those doubters.
Whoa, Craig. I think I got a blunder.
Uh-oh.
When Homer calls Ray to save him from the mental hospital's medical restraint, Dr. Hibbert, he ain't got no eyebrows. And then, the eyebrows appear again.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
There's no explanation to that. I can't figure it out.
No, me neither.
Definitely a blunder.
Definitely a blunder.
Anyway, so they finally explain to Homer that no one's ever actually seen Ray. But Homer, he feels otherwise.
Homer, no one has ever seen Ray but you.
But that's not true. Bart saw him at the builder's barn.
No, I didn't, Dad. I saw you talking to yourself.
Flanders, you saw Ray on the roof with me.
Sorry, Homer. You'll have to call me a Raytheist, because I don't believe I saw him.
Ned, are you okay? There has to be someone who saw him. Someone who doesn't hate me like Flanders and Bart. Wait, the bartender at Knockers.
I called that bosom bar. The bartender said you were there alone.
Ray's a figment of your imagination, Homer. You felt lonely and unappreciated, so you made him up.
And here's the clincher. Ray Magini is an anagram for imaginary.
Wow, my subconscious is a genius. Well, that's all very convincing and...
Just then, Homer looks out the window, and there he sees him. It's Ray, hammering away on the roof. Homer freaks out, and Hibbert declares that this calls for electroshock, or as it is more commonly known by its technical term, electroconclusive therapy.
Well, that's a world of difference. Light me up, Doc.
When you're getting juice, can you hold my turtle? I want to bring him back to life.
Oh, what did he die of?
I don't know. He was dead when I found him.
Bart and his turtles.
Oh.
So Homer whimpers as he's bound, enslaved with cotton, and given a bite guard, which he eats because it tastes so good. It was, after all, rubber covered in Vaseline. And he asks Marge to get the recipe, and the shock therapy begins. So here's another thing to eat on the episode. Steve, here's a bite guard with rubber on it. Taste it. Is it good?
Not bad.
Rubber and Vaseline. Yum.
I mean, Milhouse likes Vaseline on toast.
Did you know there's some great animation there of Homer being shocked? A little reminiscent of the season 1 episode, There's No Disgrace Like Home.
That's right, where everybody shocks each other. Like, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. A nice callback with 350 episodes later, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Dr. Hibbert asks Homer if he sees anybody who isn't there, and Homer responds that he only sees the doctor, Marge, and Yogi Bear. Well, he still has a sense of humor, which is a bad sign. More electroshock.
So then Homer's in the doctor's office with Hibbert and looking at photographs of people to decide if they're real or not. So, Steve, I'll take this test here with you. Ready? So here's a picture of Marge.
Real.
All right. Here's a picture of Itchy and Scratchy.
Not real.
All right. Here's Bart.
Real.
Right. And now here's Robin Hood. Human, not the fox.
Okay. The fox is, a thirst trap. He's sexy. But Robin Hood's real.
I'm sorry. Due to recent historical evidence indicates that Robin Hood did not actually exist. So, more electroshock. Thanks for the sound effects.
Yeah. So 6 weeks later, Homer is fine, and his dandiness will slowly return with time. Bart and Lisa greet their father in their Sunday best with a sign that reads, "We heart our insane dad," but with the in insane crossed off.
So despite the fact that he enjoys laying down, Homer is glad to be off the electroshock table. Just then, Ray actually appears. And Homer is startled and calls Ray a monster and says he doesn't exist and bashes a chair across the roofer's back.
Ray punches him back, and Homer is amazed by the awesome power of the human mind. He then passes out, and we find that everyone else can see Ray the roofer. Dr. Hibbert isn't concerned, though, as he has a loophole in the parking validation agreement that negates any lawsuits. Check and mate.
So Ray does exist?
That's right. Now let's explore the improbable series of events that led to this amusing yet tragic farce.
On account of my eye patch, I couldn't see Ray sitting at the bar. All I saw was you, eating and drinking and talking to yourself.
And Ned, you didn't see me because I was hiding behind the chimney.
Hey, gee, I thought my vision was perfect, and here I was, worshipping false eyeballs.
Wait. How come at Builder's Barn I saw Homer talking to thin air?
Well, that...
I can answer that. I've been tracking a tear in the fabric of space-time, which combined with airborne pieces of metal at Builder's Barn to create a miniature black hole. This anomaly interposed itself between Homer and Bart, causing a gravitational lens, which absorbed the light reflected from Ray the roofer.
That seems feasible.
Yay!
Hey, I got a little blunder here, Steve.
Okay.
So Ray's at the bar, and usually when you order at a bar, you order through the bartender.
Right, especially if you're sitting at the bar.
He was. And unless a Knockers waitress came up to him and he ordered the nachos and then the beer, but he should have known Ray was there to get in that food and the beer.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Also, the Knockers bartender was at the mental hospital. She disappeared, along with the rest of the family and Dr. Hibbert, Ned, and Ray. He just kind of showed up because, I wonder how that person I served once is doing. I'm going to go to the hospital and check out on him.
It's a classic Simpsons move, though.
It's true. So everything's explained, but one thing doesn't make sense. Why did Ray start to fix their roof and then not finish the job?
Oh, wait, that's easy, Steve. He's a contractor. They're all crooks.
Okay.
And because Homer went through so much pain and suffering, Dr. Hibbert agrees to give the free ice scraping and something else. Something much more else.
Oh.
Yeah, Hibbert will fix the roof while Homer and Ray enjoy a beer. So that's the episode, Steve.
Alrighty, Mull. Let's find out what we think, what somebody else thought about it. And but before we do that, let's take a break.
What time's this show on?
It's Monday, 9 o'clock, CBS.
And what's the network?
CBS.
At what time?
9 o'clock.
And if I want to watch it, what day?
Monday, 9 o'clock.
And this is on the radio.
No, it's television. Mondays at 9 on CBS.
And if I want to see it, what time should I watch it?
9 o'clock.
On what channel?
CBS.
What day?
Monday.
On the radio?
Television.
Turn the television to what channel?
CBS.
At what time?
9 o'clock on Monday.
Now, if I wanted to see it on a certain day, what would be the best day to see it?
It's only on Monday.
And what time would be a good time to turn it
9 o'clock. It's from 9 to 9:30.
So if I turn my radio on at 9 o'clock...
Not the radio, television.
So it's Mondays at 9 on NBC.
CBS. 9 o'clock.
On the radio.
Television.
Television at 3 o'clock.
And we're back. Craig, let's talk about our favorite visual things, maybe our MVJ. We'll look at some external reviews and our own thoughts. And let's find out what we're watching next week.
All right.
Cool.
Let's do our favorite video gag first.
Yeah, I think so. So I have like two. So one, the sign of knockers about not staring at the breasts that are enormous of our waitresses. I think that's fun.
Is that on a t-shirt?
Yeah. Then you could go a little bit simpler of the t-shirt of just knockers on Route 98. But I think I'm going to go a little conceptual. And I'm going to do a shirt of Ray the Roofer being shown as viewed through the black hole. So it's like the colors of Ray flowing into the black hole. And just that image of Ray standing there and him going into a black hole. I think that would be deep and kind of cool.
Very deep, man.
Yeah.
No, it's fun. The knockers one, it'd be fun just to wear that at a Hooters restaurant. If restaurants will ever exist again. And the capacity of that way of going inside. Here's my simple one. There is some fun things in here, but I got to go with it. Homer envisioning him becoming president. So it's just Homer plus a pitcher of beer equals president. That's it. I don't need him in the thought bubble.
I love it.
I can just have that equation on a t-shirt. And I'd buy that for $1.
Me too.
Like literally, it's just $1. I'd pay $1. How about our favorite quotes?
Well, I kind of showed my cards earlier, but there's a lot of funny in here, and I don't want to
I'll just stop you, okay? The best quote is this.
Hey, Homer! Look, I just came down with a case of shingles.
What's in the box?
So it's good on 2 points. Like the dad joke is great, the shingles joke is great, but also just the fact that Homer is like, what's in the box? I didn't want to show my cards when you were saying that. That's the best quote. You can't get any better than that. I mean, yeah, there's some funny things, in the episode too. I like when Homer at the beginning is like, stupid Homer hating family. That's a great line. Bart had some great lines, but because of that, I'm giving Ray Romano the MVJ on my side. Even though Homer's responses,
solid.
Yeah, even though Homer's responses are great, but he's come up with the dad jokes.
Yeah, he's just pure fun, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. There are a lot of funny quotes, but that shingles joke, that's all I thought about before watching it, and when I got it, it was just as rewarding as I remember it. So that's the joke.
All right, so those are our favorite quote. We both agree with that. Is your MBJ Bart or Lisa or the dog?
Certainly not Maggie, because she didn't do anything in this episode.
No, she did ring out the bear. That was cute.
That's a fair point. Yeah, that was fun. But I think I'm gonna give it to Ray. I mean, I did like Mo being like, when Homer ruined everything, and he's like, hey, wait a minute there. Don't go just yet. And then he just scrapes the frosting.
There's some fun
That's
stuff.
fun.
All right.
But I'm going to give it to Ray because, I think that Ray Romano is a good comedian, and I think he works best as being an ex-comedian who appears in things. Like his post-comedian work, not that he's not still a comedian, but like The Big Sick or...
He's just recently in The Irishman.
Right. And I think he's like the Jimmy Carter of comedians, where he was perfectly fine doing what he was hired to do, but his post-work is where he really shone.
Well, Jimmy Carter may be smarter, but Ray Romano is no Bono. That's as dumb as Scooby-Doo can do.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I think that's the whole thing about like comedians, like stand-up comics. Like it's been proven now that they're actually good actors. Like look at like Bill Burr. I know he's been canceled, but Louis C.K. was a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Seinfeld, but no, he kind of sucks as acting. I mean,
but Adam Sandler. Everybody liked Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, much like Bart's penis in this episode. All right, well, let's review this. But before we review, we'd like to look at a little little of the external reviews. So we found 2 good ones here for y'all. One being a negative and one being a positive. Steve, I feel like you're always doing the negatives. I'm going to give you the negative. How about that?
That works.
All right. So this is from maybe JR Escape, JRESC, from August 20th, 2010. So about like 5 years after this episode actually aired. And the title is, What's the Deal with the Show Not Being Fun Anymore? Period. They didn't put a question mark. But they give it a 0.5 out of, I guess, a 10?
Probably.
Here we go. Homer isn't a drunk idiot. Bart is having homework parties and not fighting with Lisa anymore. Marge always has things her way. And Lisa is getting on my nerves more than before. This show used to be known for its hilarity and Bart's crank calls to Moe and Lisa getting beat up and pranked all the time by Bart. I barely found any enjoyment in this episode as the plot is not adventurous and not as funny as in seasons 13 through 15. I barely find the hilarity in the gods are bowling and Bart having homework parties. The gerbil getting sick at the beginning of the episode was Lisa's fault for not taking care of him, not Homer's. If this keeps up, The Simpsons won't last much longer.
Oh boy. So a couple of things. The gods are bowling, meaning that he believes in a dualistic deity system rather
than the Battlestar Galactica people.
Yeah. The gods are bowling.
And I miss those episodes where Bart just beats the shit out of Lisa.
I know. It was so funny when Lisa was abused by her sibling.
Physically.
Yeah. And also the gerbil wasn't sick. It just, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, I love these reviews. Steve, how about that? How about a different one?
Alrighty, so this one's by Kermie. Typical fare here. I give it a 7.5. This is from August 22nd, 2005, so a little bit closer to the show when it originally aired, about 4 months after. So unlike the other reviewer, I saw no major problems with the series. While the characters haven't aged, they have, quote-unquote, grown up. There are better things to write jokes about than I Want Amanda Hug and Kiss. Ooh. So even though this review is like 5 years before the review that you read, it feels like it's throwing shade at what Jay had to say. Anyway, by and by, not lasting much longer. This episode aired, no more than 6 months ago? We've known for long that 17 would be the final season. Way to go out of there on a limb there. All in all, a decent episode that wasn't trying too hard to be cool. So
the Simpsons episodes that try to be cool.
Yeah, and also that this person clearly has knowledge that the show's going to end at season 17.
If it did, we'd have many episodes less to review.
This is true. We'd only have to do like a couple hundred episodes instead of the 450 that we have to do now.
Steve, do we ever go to the 1 through 10? If we ever finish this, I think I've talked about this with Steve before, that if we ever got to the point where we reviewed every episode from 11 to beyond, and the show's still on the air, we would just continue on with the current episodes.
Yeah.
And Steve, we won't have to do this, how many months out of the year? 6?
Yeah.
Let's just do a podcast, record every episode like right now. We should be doing that like during this moment of COVID-19. Just
recording every episode, just banking. Like Simpsons on an Open Fire, Bart the General, all the ones. Just
no. I'm saying no, not the OG stuff.
Okay, just
the ones that we haven't reviewed yet for our.
Oh, just get them out of the way.
Just get them out of the way, and then yeah. Well, okay. Those were some fun reviews. Anything else you want to share on those, or?
I think that's about it.
So, is it time for
our reviews?
So here's the thing, when we spun for this episode, it was one of those rare episodes, one of those like, I'm excited to watch this because I know this, and the shingles joke is great, and I totally forgot about the B plot, by the way.
Yeah, it's not much of a B plot.
Yeah, I don't know if it was really necessary. I think it was just a way for, you're right, it's not really B plot, because it was just a way for the family to go away so they don't ever see Homer with Ray. So I'm fine. I guess I'm fine with that. And it's kind of a rare episode, too, where, Homer goes crazy, and the family's against him. But, he was actually right all along, which is, you don't really see that. For guest appearances, I think Ray Romano was great. And it's, I'll just keep it short and simple. Like, I enjoy this episode, but it's not like the best. It's a covered episode for me. There's some weak points, but really there's just, this is like the minor, I don't know if it's like saying weak points, but it's not as hilarious as I thought it was in my head going back to it. But the Homer and Ray stuff, it was great. And I'll just say I enjoy this episode. It's an episode I do go back and watch, and I recommend people watch it. That being said, Everyone Loves Raymond. There was 210 episodes of Everyone Loves Raymond. So out of 210, I'm gonna give this episode. I'll give it a 169.
Nice.
One extra in that 69. Everyone loves 69.
Oh yeah. Although it's really kind of practical, but it's fine. It's just a lot of positioning, and if the height's off, it's a lot of work.
Right.
I just like the more turn-based sexual moves.
Let's just talk about your review.
Okay, so I basically remember this episode for the Shingles joke, and that's about it. And in my mind, when this originally aired, 15 years ago, I was immediately in my brain turned off by it because I had this mental block about Ray Romano being a bad sitcom star in a cheesy sitcom that wasn't very good to my mind. Through the years, seeing Ray Romano in different things, and I've grown to enjoy his work more, and I appreciate him more as a comedian. I still am not a big fan of this sitcom just because it's very formulaic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know. I'm not gonna probably do a Everybody Loves Raymond podcast. That being said, this episode was fun. It's not the most important episode, and it is flawed. You talked about the B plot, and it's weak, and it's just an excuse for movement. It's not really a B plot. That being said, there's a lot of jokes in this episode that are weird and dark. Like, I don't know, there's something about when the Hot Wheels tracks fall apart and everything's defeated. There's a sad beauty in that I like. When Homer talks about Mr. Johnson killing himself because of the Builder's Barn, I like that. I think this speaks more about my own psyche than this episode itself. But I'm going to say that this was a fun episode for me. It'd be like an episode that I would write, not that I would enjoy, but that I would write and be like, here it is. And people would be like, oh my God, that's so sad. And it's like, yeah, it's just what's in my head.
It has, it's very much a dark humor, black comedy, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you like that sort of thing.
I do, and it's not something I seek out because I like dumb jokes too. I use the Shingles joke, but this episode kind of like spoke to me on a level that was a bit higher than I was anticipating because all the darkness in it and just the overwhelming like bleakness of Homer having a friend that nobody else saw because nobody respected him. It reminds me of another episode which I didn't appreciate as much called Diggs.
No, you hate that episode.
I know, which is interesting, but I did see a parallel. Anyway, I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I don't know that it's for everybody, but for me, it works. Now, I did some research, and as of 2016, there were 430 Hooters locations. My original plan was to find out how many Hooters employees there were, multiply it by 2, subtract 1, and have that be the number of breasts that I saw, and that would be what I based my rate on. But I could not find that information, but I did find a fun tweet because the Hooters CEO in 2018 announced that they were shutting down because millennials are eating, and I quote, too much ass, not enough wings.
Wait, I think we have breaking news here, Steve. Are you saying that Hooters restaurants are closing down?
Well, according to this article that was written in 2018, they are going to close down, but I feel like something didn't happen where they didn't close through, where they didn't follow through with closing.
Okay.
Because I think they still exist. I mean, although after all this COVID stuff, who knows? But just the quote of millennials are eating too much ass, not enough chicken wings. So in 2016, there were 430 Hooters, which would equate to 860 breasts. And so out of that, I'm going to give this 701 boobs. Woohoo! So I like this episode. It's solid. And yeah, that's my review.
Well, I enjoyed your review, Steve. Let's find out what we're watching next week. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. And to do that, we'll need that wheel of random. All right, Craig, let's spin the wheel to see what season we are in. Here we go. Ba-doop.
We got season 24.
Season 24. Alrighty, let's spin to see what episode we are watching.
Episode 16 again. Steve, I think we've done like 16 episodes the past. Doesn't feel like it. No, the road to nowhere was 11, but this last episode was episode 16. Is our episode wheel broken?
Season 16.
Yeah.
It might be. We might need to get it maintained.
Uh-oh. Another maintenance wheel. We'll find out,
Maybe.
I guess. All right. So season 24, episode 16.
That's right, Craig. It's Dark Knight Court, which sounds like a lot of fun.
Batman?
Just imagine Batman. Yeah, exactly. Batman being in Night Court. I'm dead filthy.
Well, that's the only time Batman would show up to court, right?
That's a good point, yeah. I missed that episode of Night Court where the Joker came up and like, you murdered 50 people. $50 time served.
You know what's so funny? Before you just tell the description of the episode, I've been rewatching the Batman 66 TV series, and the first episode is with Riddler, and literally his plan is to file a lawsuit against Batman, so Batman has to go to court and tell the truth to reveal his identity.
Oh, wow.
That's literally the first episode of Batman.
That's funny.
So there's your Dark Knight Court. Anyway, so what's this episode about?
So Lisa must defend her brother when Bart is falsely accused of pulling a prank on Easter. I'm assuming on the day of Easter, not on the concept of Easter. Mr. Burns tries to fulfill his dream of becoming a superhero.
You know, I don't remember this, but now I do because I totally remember we've talked about before, the tapped out. I remember getting the Mr. Burns tapped out superhero costume that looks like Batman.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
So the episode originally aired March 17th, 2013. I remember the tapped out, but I don't remember the episode. So there you go.
Cool. I look forward to watching it because, yeah, I don't have any recollection of this episode aside from tapped out. So we'll see.
There is a little nervous hesitation on my part because it was written by Billy Kimball and Ian Maxtone Graham. Was it Ian Maxtone responsible for our favorite?
That's true, but he also wrote a lot of Futurama, so maybe better? I don't know.
Yeah, Scorpion's Tail, that's a reference to one of our least favorite episodes, and that was written by Billy Kimball and Ian Maxtone Graham. So we'll find out next week. Until then, hey, go to our TeePublic store, which is tpublic.com/user/annoyedgruntboys. And hey, got any questions or concerns? You can always tweet at us or Facebook us or Instagram us at 138simpsons.
And you can always email us at 138simpsons@gmail.com. And also, please go to your favorite podcasting app and leave us a review. But it doesn't have to be an actual review. It can be a quote or your favorite question, or you can just write like JFK, 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 if that's your favorite president. Whatever you, I don't care.
All right, for this week, I've been half an annoyed grunt boy, Craig.
And I've been your other half annoyed grunt boy, Steve.
And remember, keep watching the skis and wear your fucking mask, and Black Lives still matter.
Hey, I just came down with a case of shingles. That's right. Wear your mask. Black Lives Matter. And cops, just be cool. That's it.
I just came down with a case of shingles.
What's in the box?